With the festival for the Academy full in swing, the political games have really begun with all the heads of state. When there's an event put on for the students to showcase their etiquette ability as they're showing themselves off to nobles, so that once they graduate, they have a lord or lady that they can go work for. Now, at this event, Makoto unfortunately is really showing himself to be lacking in this regard. Although he's very powerful in mana and his combat abilities, his ability to navigate politics, especially human politics, is sorely lacking. And this is demonstrated perfectly when he's having this conversation with Suritsu. She's a lady from the Lorien Commonwealth who's asking Makoto if he's a person from another world. She doesn't use the exact wording. She calls him a sage, and the reason why she says sage is that's the word that they use for people from the other world in her country, but she immediately picks up that he's from not their world because he's using sage script, in other words, Japanese writing that's used from another world. And she's trying to pressure him to admit that he's from another world and for him to relocate to the Lorien Commonwealth. Now, you might think that, oh, she's being very nice here. She's saying that we'll protect you. You'll be very accepted. If you just would be willing to come to us, we would be more than open arms to you. In fact, we even think that the other heroes might be people from another world as well. Makoto, for his part, is pushing back against this, and I'm hoping that this comes into his mind, because the reason why she's probably pressuring him so much to come join him is because so far the family of Lumia, the royal one, has a hero, and the great empire has a hero, but the Commonwealth does not. So if she could get somebody who's from another world who potentially could have powers over to their side as well, that would give them a great asset in the military responsibility. So they never really say that explicitly, but if you just read between the lines, that's probably what she's getting at. They can get him, who probably is a very powerful person from another world, if the other two heroes are anything to go by, then be a great thing to have on their team. And also, they're a very secluded nation, so no one really knows what's going on within those borders, but they seem to be very styled off the Japanese way of things. Also, she has some demons working for her. Now, we don't know if they're fully aware working for her, or they're under some kind of charm and they're following her orders directly. We just don't really know that for sure. We're giving those two ideas from two different people, both Makoto and Princess Lily, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But this isn't Makoto's only failure. His second failure, and this one is probably actually more critical, is that he fails to make any contact with anybody else at the party. He doesn't make any more political allies. He doesn't make any more connections to help him out. Like, he mentions it at the party, but instead he just holds back, huddles up like a turtle, and doesn't do anything. Now, as a shonen myself, as a person who is very recluse, I'm not blaming Makoto at all here. But you are the leader of the Kazunu Company. You are the leader of the Demiplane. It is your responsibility to get some political allies. And the fact that you haven't done that so far, that's going to be causing some issues. If you had some political allies, the church probably couldn't have swung their power around you so much in the last episode. So I'm just saying here, Makoto, that's a big mark against you for not going forward and trying to make more allies at that event. Third mark against Makoto. There's a student that comes forward and has a massive complaint against Makoto. I forget his name right now. I'll have to go look it up. I'll make sure to add it down here below. And what he's talking to Makoto about is when Makoto confronted him and his colleagues when they were harassing a girl. And he is pretty perturbed that Makoto doesn't recognize him. And Makoto apologizes, but instead of like, hey, let's just take you off to the side a little bit. Let's have a quick little conversation. And then you can go and I can get back to my guest, because right then he was entertaining Rembrandt and his wife. Instead, Makoto just apologizes and just kind of brushes the student off, causing the student to run off in frustration, claiming that he's going to take out his students during the festival. So now Makoto's students have to be worried about this gentleman here that seems to be determined to take them out for revenge against Makoto for his actions in the early part of the season. Now, with that said, Makoto doesn't seem too concerned about it. He reassures Rembrandt and his wife that, don't worry, nothing's going to happen to my students, we're going to be okay. But still, you could have handled that better. As a teacher, it was your responsibility to take the student aside and talk to him about it. Like, yes, I get it, Makoto is still young, he's still bullish, and yes, the student was rude, but there's still a better way to handle it than the way that Makoto did, especially since we find out that student is part of the royal family, and that due to Makoto not handling it better than he did, probably caused the reason for why all Makoto students ended up fighting each other within the tournament, so causing each other to be disqualified right away. I'm just saying that if Makoto had handled that better, the royal family and the academy probably wouldn't have been pressured to make sure that Makoto students were facing each other. So I'm just putting that as a statement there that Makoto, you not only failed to do your job as a teacher and politically maneuver them into a better position, but you also put your students in potential danger here. So that's a major flaw that I saw with Makoto in this episode, that I thought the episode did a really great job just demonstrating that, yes, Makoto is still a young guy. He can make mistakes. He still needs to learn a lot about this world and how he needs to interact with it. That although he may be, 15, 16, that doesn't mean that he has the whole world figured out. Even if he came for ours, he has a lot of mana, but that's it. He needs to learn a lot of lessons here. And by the end of this episode, we definitely see that he's getting frustrated with this world and its rules, but, he's got to get better at it. That's the best I can say for him. Now, on the flip side of Makoto, someone who adeptly navigated their way through the political minefield was Princess Lily from the Empire. Now, she didn't have too much to say in this episode, but you saw her clash between her and Tsutsui on her conversation with Makoto, and they're trying to battle it forth. And also, she's trying to get from Tsutsui the secrets of black powder for the guns that she's going to be preparing for their, eventual conquest of the entire nation, or continent, I guess would be the better way to put it. And Tsutsui doesn't pick up on this at all, but she's very wary about her because there's a lot of spies already in the Lorien Commonwealth, so why does she want to talk about gunpowder with her? But she's more than willing to have a conversation, even though it's going to be a minefield. Now, presumably, we're going to guess that this conversation went well for the princess because we never hear her mumble or grumble about it later on in the episode. So I guess she must have got what she wanted from the Commonwealth leader. And she also went and interviewed Ludo about why he's with Makoto's company so much, because she spied him hanging out with Makoto, Mio, and Tomoe, and she's questioning about him if the Adventurers Guild is backing the Cosmic Company, and Ludo's like, oh, no, nothing of the sort. I'm just very interested in him. And we get the next part of her questioning, and probably the real reason why she was asking about it is that she was asking about Tomoe and if she could take down the Cosmic Company and take her with him. And at that point, Ludo's like, yeah, no, don't do it. You're going to get completely annihilated. So just trust me on this. You don't want to cause any problems with the Makoto Company. And the princess seems to brush her hands with that, but we get the sense that it's probably not going to be the end of things with her and the Cosmic Company. Also, we get some information from Ludo that the princess is going to be starting her own war soon. And we got some inklings from Hikkobi early in the season that she presumed that the Empire probably would cause a massive war to take everything over, and she might have to get involved in that some way. So we're going to be seeing if that's really what's going to happen. If she not only tries to declare war on the demons, but also tries to swallow up the other countries as well. If they are able to produce guns, yeah, they should be able to do that. But I'm really curious to see how guns and magic interact, because Itsui herself said that magic is far superior to guns. So what kind of guns are we specifically making here? I look forward to see what they got going on. We probably won't find out until the last few episodes of the season, if even this season at all, but still something I want to mention here as a possibility to keep an eye out for. Now, as we're going through this episode, I do want to talk about the students a little bit. They seem to be taking the news that they'll be facing a determined foe pretty well, that they are pretty confident in Makoto's teaching. I mean, they should. They did take out a Drake back in episode 12, so they are pretty good to go, but still, they gotta be on their guard, and seeing that they're so confident, Makoto throws a little extra spice in there for them, telling them that some restrictions on their abilities so that they can hide their true potential, just as a trump card so they can surprise their opponents later on, or so that they can have this as a backup if they ever meet in actual combat with anybody, which is a smart move, but the students are a little bit depressed that they have to resort to lesser means than going full force out there on the stage. But that's not the only surprise that they find out. They find out from Makoto that Tomoe and Mio are far superior to Shiki in strength, which just completely shocks them. So they're like, okay, we got to up our game, because Shiki was doing a fantastic battle against Makoto, but if Shiki is low level compared to the two adventurers right next to Makoto, that really means they need to up their game. And Tomoe even compliments that they look very fierce, and she respects them, and she looks forward to seeing how their training going, where Mio, she kind of more brushes off to the side, like, you guys are just hatchlings, like, what's so impressive about you? I don't see any power, which is fair because you are the Spire of Destruction. She has level 1500 or something way more higher than that, so she's definitely a force to be reckoned with. So when you're comparing her to these low level adventurers, yeah, we can understand why she would have such a low opinion of them. But that's honestly my thoughts of this episode, that Makoto, you completely failed on the politics side. It caused your students great issues. You didn't make any political allies, and it's going to be coming to bite you in the butt. I mean, I know you did recognize that you've been lying and being conceitful with the other people within the realms of power here and not really reaching out to them like you should have, but still, you got a lot to learn, man. And hey, there's nothing like the School of Hard Knocks, and I look forward to see how this all resolves for Makoto in the next couple of episodes. But you guys let me know down below. What do you think of this episode? Do you think, as I do, that Makoto really failed at the politics side here, that he could have done way better? Do you think that Princess Lily's preparations for war is going to be for the whole human race to conquer it for the great empire? Or is it more so just preparing for going against the demons with the guns? I'm curious to hear what you guys got to say. Leave a like and a comment, and I'll catch you later. Bye.